Hello and a very warm welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya with you. In today's episode, we will take a quick look at some of the recent updates from the Indian Science Congress, along with the effects of electronic gadgets on our health. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. Face-to-face with Nobel laureates, Nobel Prize Series, India 2017. India seeks sustainable international scientific partnerships, Chidambaram at Indian Science Congress. Scientists discuss Indian neutrino project at Indian Science Congress, might open up new avenues of understanding neutrino. Pure or not, DNA barcoding to analyze herbal mixtures. And in our In Focus segment today, we will take a look at some of the effects of electronic gadgets on our health. And now news in detail. Students from across the country, 9 Nobel laureates, conferences, lectures and roundtables, all focused on one goal, stimulating science and technology in the country. Well, this was the objective of the Nobel Prize Series India 2017, recently inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So what all transpired at the 5-day event? Let's find out.
How does science change the world? What does it take for an idea to click? These are some of the fundamental questions that may arise in any young student's mind. Answering these questions now were 9 Nobel laureates across the globe who assembled at the Nobel Prize Series 2017 recently held in India. The 5-day Nobel Prize Series and exhibition titled The Nobel Prize – Ideas Changing the World was inaugurated at Science City in Ahmedabad by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi.
Earlier, there have been occasions when 1, 2 or 3 Nobel laureates have visited India and had interaction with students and scientists in a limited manner. But today, we are making history by having a galaxy of Nobel laureates in Gujarat.
For an event of this kind, India is almost ideal. You are one of the world's, or you are in fact the world's biggest democracy, with a growing economy and a growing population. You are also an important country of the world in Nobel, with roughly 15 people of Indian origin or having worked in India having received the prize.
Part of Nobel Prize Series India 2017 has been planned in connection with the vibrant Gujarat Summit this year, with a special focus on innovation and education. The Nobel Prize Series, which has been conceived as a part of the Nobel Foundation's Global Outreach Program, aims to encourage engagement in science. During the event, 9 Nobel laureates participate in a moderated dialogue held at Mahatma Mandir. They also engage in inspirational meetings such as question and answer sessions, lectures and roundtable discussions with students across the country and share their achievements. The exhibition, which will be showcased for a month, will guide the visitors through the story of the Nobel Prize, the Nobel laureates, and how Nobel Prize awarded efforts have shaped and continue to change our world. The series is conceived as an opportunity for young students to interact with some of the best minds of the world.
Apart from the exciting scientific and technical sessions, the 104th Indian Science Congress was a platform for wider discussions. While young students seeking answers to their queries interacted with renowned researchers, the event also sought international scientific collaborations. Now, speaking at the conference, India's principal scientific advisor R. Chidambaram called for sustainable international partnerships in science.
Apart from the many technical sessions, the 104th Indian Science Congress was a platform for wider and intense discussions, mainly focused on scientific excellence and economic development. In the changing times, these two areas call for scientific collaboration. This was also the focus of the public lecture delivered by the Government of India's Principal Scientific Advisor R. Chidambaram during the 104th Indian Science Congress.
Today's India wants international partnership on an equal partner basis. We don't want doles from other countries. As India is growing, of course we must do basic research. You can build a technology superstructure, but the foundation for that comes from basic research. Even basic research for which there are no obvious applications. Gravitational, Prime Minister talked about gravitational waves. Gravitational waves, and we are going to get the third leg arm.
During his talk entitled The International Partnerships in Science, he discussed the advantages of international partnerships for sustainable scientific development and called for cooperation on an equal partner basis. During the talk, he detailed the country's contributions and international participation spanning various areas including superconducting connector magnets for Large Hadron Collider at CERN to the India Tsunami Early Warning Center.
Now, of course, India in the last couple of decades, has been going in for big international cooperation in mega science projects, in mega technology projects. One of them is the Large Hadron Collider. Large Hadron Collider is run by the Center for European Nuclear Research. India is an associate member, as the United States, Japan, China and all that. And they were looking for the Higgs boson. This was the only missing particle in the standard model in particle physics. And because they expected the weight under the standard model for this to 130, 150 times the mass of the proton.
The deliberations stressed on fostering excellent research and innovation ecosystem, including energy, water, nutritional and health security.
To better understand the science of neutrinos, the special electrically neutral subatomic particles, there is a proposal to establish an India-based neutrino observatory. Well, the proposal involves the establishment of an underground lab with 50,000-ton magnetized iron calorimeter to study neutrinos. Well, various aspects of the ambitious Indian neutrino project were discussed by researchers at the Indian Science Congress. Let's take a look.
Neutrinos, the electrically neutral subatomic particles, is one of the most fascinating aspects of particle physics. Neutrinos, which are created during many nuclear and particle reactions, are key to understand many fundamental phenomena like the formation of stars and even the universe. Towards furthering our understanding of the universe, there is a proposal to establish a neutrino observatory in India. The India-based Neutrino Observatory project, which aims at building a world-class laboratory at Bodhi Hills in Theni district of Tamil Nadu. The INO Observatory was a topic of deliberations at the 104th Indian Science Congress, which concluded in Tirupati recently.
What we try to do in INO is to study that larger mass square difference in detail, and why exactly do we need to construct INO? It is the only atmospheric neutrino detector with a magnetic field, and this magnetic field enables us to study matter and antimatter separately and provides a much better detail of the whole neutrino physics and atmospheric neutrino problem compared to all the other detectors.
Speaking on the topic, researchers also elaborated on the need of such a project and said that neutrino studies are radiation-free. The researchers also assured that the underground lab can be built with the controlled blast system and it will not damage the dams in the area as feared. Nobel laureate Takaaki Kajita, who won the prize for discovering neutrino oscillations, also spoke in support of the project during the Science Congress. The INO project involves the use of a 50,000-ton magnetized iron calorimeter to detect particles called muons produced when the neutrinos interact with matter. The project is expected to boost basic science research in South India and aid the LIGO India project, which has already been initiated.
We all use herbal products in our life in one form or the other. But, with adulteration on the rise, how do we know if this herbal mixture is pure or not? Well, this is exactly what the novel technique called DNA barcoding helps us to do. Let us see this report.
From large-scale industries to shopping trends, smartphone scanning barcodes has made tracking and access as easy as a swipe. But did you know that barcoding is also used in taxonomy to identify plants and animals using their DNA? Yes, with the cost of sequencing technologies reducing, DNA barcoding is a fast emerging trend. The technique involves the use of special minimal sequences of DNA called DNA barcodes to identify plant and animal species. Following the generation of barcodes, a reference database is established, which can be used even by non-experts to identify a species. In this context, CSIR, Central Institute of Medical and Aromatic Plants, or CMAP, is making this application valuable to address the challenge of contamination in the Indian herbal market.
The main potential application of the DNA barcoding technique is in the herbal industries, where there is a chances of the adulteration and substitution of the genuine plant material with the substituted one or the unfilled labels which are not having those properties which the genuine potential drug is having. So there we will use this technology or technique to identify the potential raw drug in the case of the herbal supplement products.
Analysis of barcodes of herbal medicines helps detect spurious, inferior, defective, spoiled, useless parts of the same or different plant or harmful substances or drug which do not conform with the official standards. DNA barcoding also aids genetic conservation studies. In the coming years, DNA barcoding is likely to be widely used as a diagnostic tool for rapid species recognition, identification, and discovery.
Well, it is time for a very short break. We'll be back with more science news. Keep watching Science Monitor.
যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে
তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে
একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা चलो
विरासत में इस बार गुरुदेव रविंद्रनाथ ठाकुर का रचना संसार हिंदी में पहली बार सिर्फ राज्यसभा टेलीविजन पर।
बोंडा आदिवासियों से मिलने आज हम पहुंचे हैं उड़ीसा राज्य के मलकानगिरी जिले की बोंडा घाटी में। बोंडा आदिवासियों की शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य और रोजगार के लिए जो काम किए जाने थे, क्या वो काम हुए? संविधान और कानून ने इनको जो हक दिए, क्या वो इन आदिवासियों को मिल पाए?
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our segment Science Express.
Extending collaboration in the areas of defense and security, IT, renewable energy, agriculture, among others. India and Portugal recently signed Memoranda of Understandings. The MOUs will help both countries harness our respective strengths in these fields for mutual benefit. Portugal has also backed India's bid for permanent membership of the United Nations Security Council. In a distinguished honor, US President Barack Obama has selected 4 Indian Americans for presidential awards. The award is the highest honor given to science and engineering professionals in the early stage of their research careers for keeping the US on the cutting edge by their innovation. The 4 Indian origin scientists include Pankaj Lal from Montclair State University, Kaushik Chaudhary from Northeastern University, Manish Arora from Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, and Aradhana Tripathi from University of California, Los Angeles. In a fascinating new find, a team of scientists, including an Indian origin researcher, has discovered bioclay for pest-free crops. The bioclay is a nano-sized degradable clay which protects plants from specific disease-causing pathogens and can be used as an alternative to chemical pesticides without harmful effects. Bioclay tricks the plants into thinking it is under attack and activate defense mechanism. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has recently released a new image depicting the Earth and Moon from Mars. The image, taken using the high-resolution imaging science experiment, was shot when Mars was 127 million miles away from Earth.
Itchy, dry eyes, back pain, sleeplessness. Do you experience these symptoms quite often after a hectic day? Well, if yes, then beware. Maybe your computer is spoiling your health. Yes, if not used properly, the very modern gadgets which make our life easier can also make it difficult. Join us as we try to address this very common problem nowadays in our segment In Focus.
Food, essentials, entertainment, socializing. In today's world, nothing remains more than a click away. But the question is, with reducing effort and distances, has life become easy or more difficult? Well, every scientific invention has two sides, and the advantages can soon turn into disadvantages if not appropriately used. This has very much been true for all the modern gadgets as well. The high-tech gadgets today, needless to say, have simplified lives. But the reckless use has also led to increasing cases of health issues. Let us start with the most common problem of the times, obesity. How many of us have noticed an increase in weight simply because we prefer to have our dinners and lunches either in front of the television or computers? a quite common phenomenon nowadays. Researchers report that staring at screens or fiddling with a gadget while eating increases the tendency of unmindful eating and binging, leading to obesity. While computers have reduced our physical work, yet we hear more people complaining today about back and neck pain and muscular aches. Constant movements like swiping, scrolling, sliding or typing irritates tendons, nerves and results in a condition called texting tendonitis or repetitive strain injuries. Another human organ that faces maximum damage due to constant use of gadgets are the eyes. According to studies, human eyes are not adapted for staring at a single point or a single bright source for hours on end. Hence, if you are expecting irritation, redness, blurred vision, temporary short-sightedness, and double vision, it could be the result of continuous staring into screens. Constant strain also leads to itchy and dry eyes, which in turn leads to multiple eye infections. Today, it's a common practice when we listen to music on high volume. We do not realize that we may be falling prey to hearing loss or tinnitus. Coming to the psychological aspects, constant use of gadgets are also known to result in a host of emotional, cognitive, and psychological changes. With our constant dependence on gadgets, we would easily notice how our ability to remember phone numbers or faces and skill at reading maps have reduced. Scientists call this ementia. As we exercise less of our brain, the grey matter in the hippocampus reduces. While the result is usually mild cognitive impairment, this may even trigger Alzheimer's. While these are some of the most commonly reported disorders due to constant and restless use of gadgets, many studies even relate the ionizing radiations from cell phones to different kinds of cancers.
अपना लाइफस्टाइल बदल सकते हैं। लाइफस्टाइल में आप दिनचर्या जो है अपनी नियमित रखिए, सवेरे उठिए, एक्सरसाइज करिए, ज़्यादा शरीर में वेट ना हो, क्योंकि वेट भी ज़्यादा जो है ये एक अपने आप से अभिशाप है। ये डायरेक्टली तो नहीं, इनडायरेक्टली कई कैंसर्स होते हैं, उसके अंदर जो है ये भागीदारी रखता है। तो ये सारी चीज़ें अगर करें तो फिर अपनी तरफ से तो कोशिश कर सकते हैं कि हम बचे रहें।
Now, the question arises, why does technology have so many harmful effects on our bodies? According to scientists, modern devices and technologies are evolving too fast compared to the traditional tools. This leaves very less room for perfecting the systems to completely suit the biological systems, and even our bodies do not get the required time to adapt. Hence, every modern device, if not appropriately used, can lead to some or other health issue.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar, C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with the fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha TV. Bye-bye.